All right, enough United. How about some quick hits instead?
Let's go, Gav.
Manchester City and Chelsea draw 1-1 thanks to Enzo Fernandez's late equalizer. Jules, Pep Guardiola insisted they were in control, except for the 2 second-half mistakes. Is he right?
No, he's not right. But we can expect, that kind
He
of
does this
reaction
because he
from
doesn't
him.
want to throw.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to say, hey, I finished the game with Nathan Ake
Yeah.
and Kusanov
Yes.
as my center backs.
And Nunes and O'Reilly as your fullbacks. And also the Chelsea changes at halftime. And, Callum McFarlane, who will never be on the Chelsea bench ever again, well, certainly in the near future, did well there, I thought. And so did the players, because on the basic of the second half, I think Chelsea deserved their points. I think they were very good. I think that Enzo Fernandez change of position, which we said, is difficult for him when he plays in double pivot. It's so much better when he plays higher up the pitch. That man moving Palmer on the right hand side, but still, they were good. I think they were good in that second half, deserved that point. And Pep didn't want to admit. He even said to the BBC Match of the Day commentator who asked him the question, well, you know better than me. It's not that we know better than you, Pep. It's just that it's a fact that Chelsea were better in the second half. You were better in the first half, but in the second half, you didn't have as much control, as much of the ball, as much of the chances. And in the end, I think, despite the injuries, which obviously Pep, it was nothing that Pep could do about Diaz and Gvardiol being injured. But City were not good enough in the second half.
The numbers are very clear on this. And by the way, when we talk about City and sporting directors and team construction and so on, you're one of the richest clubs in the world, and your backup defenders are Kusanov, Ake, and virtual John Stones, who started 10 Premier League games in the last 18 months. No, I'm just saying. Okay.
Sure. And meanwhile, Gab, we expect Liam Rosinho to be appointed today as the Chelsea manager. What team does he inherit?
Well, he inherits a team that's fifth in the league right now, and he qualified for the Champions League last year and won the Conference League and won the Club World Cup despite all the criticism. I don't think Maresca's gone because of results, despite the 2-9 and whatever. I think there was obviously some level of internal stuff. I have to laugh a little bit because the whole story about but Maresca wouldn't go and he wouldn't listen to the club when they wanted to have the load management and the injured players and taking care of Reece James. Reece James has started 7 of Chelsea's last 8 games, and he's played 90 minutes in all of them except for one. And guess what? He started again today.
Yeah.
And by the way, we should mention no Moises Caicedo.
Suspended, again.
For Chelsea to win without Moises Caicedo and without Robert Sanchez, because I know you don't like Jorgensen and whatever, without Cucurella, I think this is a feat.
Yeah.
So he inherits a team where there's talent there. I don't think the pieces fit together well. I think he's going to recognize that. Hopefully, since he knows the owners and he knows... I don't know. Did Strasbourg have their own sporting director? Do they borrow one of Chelsea's 5?
No, I mean, former Brighton guy, obviously.
Oh, David. I did not know. David Weir. Really, really good guy.
Great guy.
Top guy.
But they know him well.
So that's what he needs to do. I think if he just steers this team through to the Champions League next season, then he can get to work in the summer.
No.
Arsenal come from a goal down after Gabriel's brain fart to turn things around against Bournemouth. In fact, Gabriel personally turns it around
himself
after his brain fart. And Declan Rice scores twice. Jules, whatever else one may think about this team, they have what John Gregory calls bounce back ability, which is not a word.
No.
But should be.
Should be. We use it as well. I thought they showed a lot of character. They were ruthless because they didn't create that much, actually, and they were under pressure for not most of the game, for parts in that game against a good Bournemouth team that I know haven't won for 11 games in the Premier League now in a row, but are still a good team. You could see that they've got threat, they run a lot, they put you under pressure, they press well. It's not easy to play against them, home or away, for sure. And the way Arsenal responded from being a goal down after that gift from Gabriel, as you said, Gabi, to Bournemouth, the way Arsenal came back, I thought was really impressive. With Saka on the bench, with Trossard on the bench. I think they've got a lot going for themselves.
And I think what bodes really well for you is that, we said this before, at 3-1 up, you're only beaten by this ridiculous goal from Krupi, which has now been overshadowed by Harrison Reed, but that was a ridiculous goal.
Very good, yeah.
But then after that, I don't think Bournemouth had a shot on goal.
Yeah. They defended well. Worst of our Craven Cottage, Gab. Liverpool thought they had won it when Cody Gakpo scored deep in injury time, only for Harrison Reed to pull off the highly improbable and make it 2-2 in the 7th minute of stoppage time.
Yeah, this is an absolutely wild ending. I want to go before that because both goals, the one Harry Wilson scored for Fulham and the one Florian Wirtz scored for Liverpool, Both were flagged as offside on the pitch
By the same linesman.
by the same linesman, and both were overturned by VAR.
We're wrong.
Now, the Harry Wilson one, clearly, I don't know, some kind of brain fart. I don't see how you as a linesman can get that one wrong, and I'm glad VAR there was able to fix it. The Wirtz one, we just put our faith into technology, semi-automatic offside, which is long explanation about how they use a thicker line. There's 5 centimeters grace. I don't know why you have to be different from everybody else, given the 5 centimeters. I don't really care about it. I don't think it impacted the flow of the game in the sense that I thought both teams were pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, I agree.
Liverpool, Cody Gakpo's first game back, and he has to play center forward. Definitely suboptimal for him. Defensively, Liverpool still not good.
No Ekitike.
And of course, no Ekitike, no Salah, and no Isak. More points dropped for the man with 2 first names, Jules, as Spurs are pegged back by Sunderland and have to settle for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I thought the first half, despite losing Kudus halfway through it, wasn't too bad. But the second half, they collapsed again. There's no consistency in this team. And to be fair, I thought Sunderland were very good in that second half too. Producer Tom, who's producing the show today, who's perfect, but also a Spurs fan, also sent me some stats that I found very interesting, because at the heart of the problem here with Thomas Frank and this team, and the lack of progress that we see collectively with the ball in this team, comes from the lack of creativity. We said that probably a bit of a lack of talent in that squad, but also the fact that there's not much progressive passes from that midfield, whether it's Bentancur and Gray, whether it's Palhinha there, whether you put Bergvall, Sarr when he comes back from AFCON. We'll see when Kulusevski and Maddison come back. But in the game against Crystal Palace and Brentford and Sunderland, so the last 3 games that Spurs have played, the Tottenham midfield in itself had less progressive passes than at least one of the opposition midfield. So Wharton for Palace, Henderson for Brentford, and Xhaka. All those individual players had more progressive passes than the whole of the Spurs midfield. If you don't pass the ball forwards in football, it's going to be very difficult for you to score goals.
You mentioned Jordan Henderson. There's not exactly Iniesta.
Even him.
But it was nice to see Matisse Tell and Wilson Odobert actually start.
At least he went for it a little bit more.
Yeah, but this is what he's doing. He's just like, oh, look, we played super defensive this game. It didn't work. Oh, this time, let me chuck on all these other guys. Oh, that Matisse Tell. I don't know who he is. He's been hanging around the training ground. Let me see if he gets a go.
No, yeah.
Come on, man.
It's all individual effort as well.
Shout out, by the way, to the eternal Ben Davies.
Yeah, of course. Great number 9 finished up.
Aston Villa bounced back from the heavy defeat at the Emirates with a 3-1 win over Nottingham Forest. Jules, don't look now, but they're joint second on the table for those of us who don't believe in goal difference.
Yeah, they are, Gabi, they are. Their run, even if it finished at the Emirates and they went back to winning ways, is still quite impressive. Yeah, still 20 wins in the last 24 games, which is really remarkable. 23 games even. It was good because I think Forest were not very good, but Watkins with a great goal, Rodgers again, McGinn twice. When Kamara is back in the team, you see the difference. When Cash is back in the team, you see the difference even without Onana. So it's good to see that the Arsenal defeat hurt. Obviously it did, especially the score line, but that they can go back and do their own thing again. And that was probably, I would say, one of the most convincing performances of the season, because we said before sometimes they were winning but not playing that great. I thought they played great in this game and fully deserved to win. Probably should have scored more goals even.
The lead is 11 points. I go back to this. I know they're under a settlement agreement from UEFA. I know that if they don't hit certain targets, that they will get an automatic 1-year ban. I mean, they've been banned and it's been suspended. However, there's got to be a way, wheeling and dealing. This is when you wish Monchi was still there. Even without spending money, bring bodies in, send Elliott back,
I think they'll
bring
try
another
for
guy
sure.
in.
Yeah, they'll try.
Bruno Guimaraes and Malik Shaw strike late for Newcastle as they beat Crystal Palace 2-0. Jules?
Yeah, Bruno coming back big again with that first goal, very important. Wissa starting ahead of Voltemade, who was on the bench again, and I thought Wissa looked really, really good. The way he combines with his midfielders, the runs that he makes. It's a very different profile to Voltemade.
He's a center forward. Voltemade isn't. And if you're going to pump in all those crosses.
Absolutely. Exactly. So I thought that worked really well. I'm not sure when Voltemade is going to come back into the team, because I think when Wissa is in that kind of form, for me, he suits better the way this team is playing.
He's going to come back, I guess, when you stop playing 4-3-3 in that way.
Yeah, maybe.